So, in this lesson, we are going to learn about a few terminologies of AI that are popular, but how can we differentiate between them and what are the basics of this? So, let's look at first machine learning versus data science with examples, right? So, now let's say we have this data set which gives us house prices, home prices, and you can see that there are different columns in it, which is the size, then we have the number of bedrooms, then we have the number of bathrooms, newly renovated or not, and what is the price in dollars, $1,000. Now, if we look at this particular table, if it was a machine learning program, let's say it was a mobile application or a website, what we would say is we have to get one output. Let's say let's consider this as B, and let's consider this whole segment as A. Okay, so now this is A and now this is B. Okay, so now you would see that for given these all inputs, we have to run an output, right? So this is a simple example of a machine learning system, right? This time what we are asking is just get a price given these combinations, but sometimes the output could be complex also, and the input also can be complex. But any program that has a set of inputs and based upon that it has to run a set of outputs, then it is machine learning. Now let's say if we have to uh, give this data to a team to analyze, and out of these things, all this data set, if they come up saying that okay, so all the houses or homes which are under 1000 are not renovated, and or they can say that doing renovation can actually give you higher prices, or any other insight which is not directly available in the given data set. If any analysis of that sort is being done, like let's say if this is a presentation that a team has to give, and they do some analysis out of this data and present that to a team, and that is the use of data sets, right? Now let's say homes with 3 bedrooms are more expensive than homes with 2 bedrooms of similar size. Newly renovated homes have a 15% premium, which can be analyzed and which is not directly available. Yeah. Right? So now, if you look at these differences, data science is basically that analysis, and machine learning is running off outputs based upon given inputs. Right? So let's try to look at this in a more clear example. Now let's look at the definitions of these. Now let's say machine learning is a field of study that gives computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed, meaning without being programmed. If it is able to give some output or information, then it is machine learning, right? Now if on the other side data science, this is the science of extracting knowledge and insights from data, right? So this here is a field of study, and here it's a science of extracting knowledge. What happens in this field is we are giving computers the ability to learn, which is the most important keyword here, right? So we are giving computers the ability to learn without being programmed, right? So this is what is the primary difference between machine learning and data science, right? So in terms of definition, now let's go ahead and see what is the other terminology which is also very popular, which is deep learning, right? So now let's say we have a few inputs, let's say size, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, and newly renovated. Now we just have these variables, and based upon a combination of these inputs, there has to be only one output, which has to be the price. Okay, so now there could be n number of combinations that can occur in this, right? It could be one fixed size with a different number of bathrooms, right? If it's a same home with similar size, similar bedroom, similar bathroom, but renovated or not. And after fixing two things like same size, same bedrooms, now let's say different number of bathrooms and if it's renovated or not, and there are n number of combinations that are possible here, right? And this particular network that you are seeing here is called neural network, right? Which is something similar to what happens in human brains, where there are multiple neurons that are firing and giving or leading us to one particular decision. Same here, each of this point is called a neuron, right? Each of the circle is called a neuron or a node where this individual decision is happening. Now, doing this whole decision making can be converted into a big mathematical equation, right? Now, because it mimics something that happens in mind, it has been named as neural network, but it's also called artificial neural network to give the clarity that this is not a biological network, right? So this is happening on a system or a machine, right? These were actually inspired by brain, but how they work are completely different, right? So in human mind, even we're not clear in some areas on how potentially some part of things work in the brain, but here there's a lot of control that happens in these particular neural networks which are artificial, right? So now the same artificial neural networks were being called as deep learning as time progressed, which is also cleaner to understand, right? So this whole system is called deep learning, where a neural network is being created to get one specific output based upon various inputs. So now let's go ahead and understand a little bit further in this. Now, AI has many tools, right? So, machine learning and data science, deep learning, neural network, and there are many other buzzwords also. Just to be able to understand this better, you can understand this like a chart, right? So, now if you take a circle, the larger circle is AI, right? So, now if you look at this, this is AI, and within that, this the subset is another circle, which is machine learning. Okay, and there could be a lot of other things also which are not machine learning but still AI. Okay, and within this one particular segment is a neural network or deep learning, right? I'm just going to write as deep learning. Okay, and you can see that this is a deep learning. So now machine learning is a subset of AI. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning, right? Deep learning or neural network. But there could be a lot of other things which are machine learning, but not deep learning or neural networks, right? Now, what is data science in general? So data science could be an overlap of various these things, where with the use of these things you are actually able to generate more insights, right? Sorry if this auto converts into shapes. This just replace this for a, a D, and then we have S, right? So now you understand this clearly, that the difference between all of these aspects, right? So now there are many tools in AI, but this is how we can clearly differentiate. And there are other buzzwords which are like unsupervised learning, graphical models, and clean planning keywords graph, which we will go forward and discuss them at a length in detail to understand them further. Now, moving ahead, so what does make a company an AI company, right? And if you are a company, what are a few things that you should be following to become an AI company, right? So now, in the early internet era, you might have seen that if you are a shopping mall, just having a website does not make you an internet company, right? Let's say like Amazon, you also have a website, and you are a shopping mall, and now I'm like Amazon, right? So this is not true. What you have to be doing is you have to be testing a lot of things, right? So what sort of offering is working for people, what sort of taste of a person is accurate, is are the recommended products correct, and it should the iteration time has to be fast, like unlike if you want to make any change in shopping malls, it will take a lot of time, but in internet company it might be smaller, it should be smaller, right? So now in internet companies, decision making is given to engineers and specialized roles, but in traditional companies, maybe decision was made by a CEO, and everybody has to follow, right? So this is internet era. Similarly, like that in the AI era, any company with use of neural network or deep learning or integration with ChatGPT would not make you a AI company. You have to also figure out how to acquire data strategically, right? So you might see there will be companies which will uh, have not launched their product yet, or their product is not in the market extensively, but then their product is able to generate a lot of data and is acquiring that properly, and those companies are also valued higher, right? And they go for funding without even launching as well, right? So you have to be acquiring data strategically, right? You have to The next thing is you have to have unified data warehouse, right? So let's say you are capturing data in 50 different places and is being managed by 50 different people. That will not work. It has to have a single warehouse, where data warehouse where everything structured or unstructured data is being processed properly and is cleaner. And most of the things that are happening, the data decisions or the data processing, most of it is automated. And here the division of labor or effort or work is happening in various roles like ML engineers and various sort of managers, data managers, right? So you have to be doing all of these things to be actually call yourself an AI company. Or if you're joining a company or a startup, you have to understand these are the things that are actually happening there. Only then it's an AI company, and you are joining the right company. Now let's go forward and understand a little bit more about this. So just to summarize a few key points on how to transform a company into AI company is how you have to be executing a lot of pilot projects to gain momentum, right? So which is possible in the AI era, where you can do a lot of test projects without actually running them live, and a lot of smaller projects will give you a speed that is not easily possible for just a regular company. Now, the most important thing is having the AI team in house, right? You could not be able to outsource the AI team or consult it, have a consultant to build your AI, right? It has to be in house, right? And just to be clear, AI teams are not your IT teams. Many IT teams will also require AI teams as they go forward, providing broad AI training, right, to the models, right? The models have to be trained to smartly work based upon large amounts of data. There has to be an AI strategy, right? So how the data is being acquired, how it is being stored, and what sort of insights are being made, and what insights are being generated automatically, and how accurate they are. All of these things have to be developed. There is also has to be internal and external communication of these AI systems that you are developing, right? So let's say you have a web application or a mobile application. It has to actually communicate with the AI system to get the insight through various API calls or different sorts of communication mechanisms between them, right? So just having AI do its job and it's not being projected out or it's not taking input. It's like you have built something similar to chat GPT, but then it is just built. You're not able to pass input to it, and if it's not able to give in output, then it will not work, right? So how do you make it communicate? How do you develop the internal and external communication with the AI systems is also key to transform your company into an AI company. Thank you.